PLR, innit?
Yeah.
Live. It's gone live, lads.
Alright, so we're just waiting for the...
We're live now, we're streaming, Gav. So,
Round 2. Shane, is you crew, innit?
Yeah.
Me and crew, yeah.
Alright, good. Hello, and us here just before qualifying one gets underway. This is the PLR round 2 from Monza, Tier 2 live. Joined with me today in the commentary box we have Shane and crew. Boys, what do we reckon about this evening's Grand Prix? Do we have any outstanding drivers, or what do we think is going to happen?
Well, first thing I'd like to say is that the weather looks pretty dark, so there could be a bit of rain on forecast for qualifying. Well, Spectre had a great race last week. He won the race in Belgium. Pretty commanding drive. Anthony Stan with the pole position, so he showed a good bit of one lap pace last week. So, and there's a lot of new drivers in here as well. So it's going to be interesting, and if they can back up what they done last week, it should be a very interesting race.
Exactly. Yeah, so from our side of things then, NASCAR fan, he's looking for a strong race today. Craigie Speedy, we know he's always got some good pace underneath him when he was in the Tier 1s. Happy to be here as well. Big knockouts. It's looking like a strong grid. Definitely more cars than last weekend. Crew, do you have any thoughts on anything today?
First of all, buongiorno, buonasera from Italia. Yeah, it should be a bit closer today, I think. A bit more competitiveness for today. I'd like to see some better performances from one or two of the boys, but as Shane said, Spectriv drove a great race, as did Anthony Stan and one or two other boys, so hopefully the likes of NASCAR and Fazzy can bounce back.
I'd like to highlight the Racing Point lads last week had a fantastic battle with each other, gave each other a lot of space. It was a good hard race, and it was fantastic to watch. And long may it continue as well. So we'll be looking out for some more racing, wheel-to-wheel racing.
Absolutely. Agreed. Agree more.
This is a Q1, Q2 and Q3, a bit different from last weekend, which is explained to our viewers. There wasn't enough drivers there to quantify the full quali setup, but this weekend it looks like we're going for a Q1, Q2 and a Q3 shootout for pole position. Do we expect... Who do we think then should be in that top Q3, lads? Who are we expecting to see shine through to the top with the better times?
You can go ahead, crew. You want to take that first?
Well, I think the lads who should be shining, all eyes today will probably be on Spectriv after his performance at Spa, and as you make reference to the Racing Point boys, Eltamar should be up there along with Anthony Stan. But this is one of those tracks where the gap from first to quite a long way down is quite small, as we saw in the Tier 1 race on Monday. I think it was the top 12 at one point in one of the sessions were all less than 8/10 of each other, so it's a strong track for a lot of people.
100%. There's only about 10 or 11 corners, so generally tracks that have less corners, the delta between top and bottom are generally smaller, where we'll see probably the biggest delta coming now in Singapore next week with 25 corners, a street track. You'll probably see quite a large deficit, and we just seen there Killer J getting blocked by a car exiting the pit lane there on his start of his lap, so I'm sure that will be looked at. Someone wasn't paying attention to their mirrors or their map before they left the pits to see was there any cars coming along starting their lap, so that was unfortunate there for Killer J. Just in terms of people I'll be looking out for, Anthony Stan, who got pole last week. He got pole position by 0.6 of a second, and he was less than a second off Tier 1 pole as well. So that's really, really good pace. He probably would have been in the top 5 or 6 with that lap time in Tier 1. So I'd be looking at him again. He showed a good bit of one lap pace last week. And then you have guys that had their debuts in as reserves in Tier 1. You had Alpha Stuns and TKD Man, and as you know, Lemony, you had a great race with TKD Man, so he shows that he has some ability on track, and he can race cleanly, and he can also, you know, put up a good fight as well with some of the Tier 1 lads, so I'll be looking at him as well. The lap times are coming in now. Doom Vista there with a 21.5, Killer J there with a 22.2, but that was compromised. Sadistic King 20.5, that's a good time starting off the bat. Others with a 20.6. So yeah, some decent lap times already coming in. Alpha Stunts has just retired. I didn't see where it happened, but it was on a flying lap, so it looks like Alpha Stunts will be starting at the back of the grid. He won't be setting the lap time. Spectrov is actually out on track on a set of mediums, so it's interesting to show that if he's setting his lap time in mediums in Q1, he won't have mediums for Q2, so he'll be looking like he'll be starting the race on soft. So that's a bold. He's kind of giving a strategy away there very early in qualifying.
Looking at Alpha Stuns there, sorry to interrupt you, it looks like he may have lost it in and around Ascari from what I just saw on the map.
Right.
So that's the first victim of the weekend taken there.
Yeah, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, looking at Spec Drive here now ourselves. So yeah, as you mentioned there, Shane, he's on the mediums now, trying to get through on Q1. More than likely trying to save himself a set of them brand spanking new sauce for Q2, so he can afford a two runs at it, and also then be able to carry that extra set then that he doesn't use in this Q1 into Q3 to have two chances then at pole as well. So he's trying to set himself up for the later stages of this
I
qualifying.
completely agree, but the only point what I was making is that by going out on mediums now, it means that he's given his strategy up. What he's basically using his mediums now. So he'll be starting the race then on a softer turn, more than likely, because if he's going to be doing a few laps here on mediums in Q1 and then using those same tyres for Q2, which it would be kind of pointless because he's taking the life out of those mediums, and the benefit from starting the mediums would be to go longer in the race, and to possibly, it is possible to do a medium to a soft. You do have a bit of tyre wear, but with a couple of safety cars, and if they could fall in your favour, it is potentially possible to go medium soft. I've just seen Khalid there has disconnected from the session. He's left the session, so hopefully now he can come back in before Q1 finishes and he can get a lap time set.
What a Speed Drive now as well is setting himself up for a multiple lap run, just to get his eye in for the track and the conditions that we have today.
Yeah, he looks like he's set more than one lap. I think this is his second. This is actually, well, including his out lap. This is his third lap on these tyres, I think.
He hasn't set a lap time.
He hasn't set a lap time. I think he might have validated first time round.
I think I have to agree with what you're saying though, Shane, because it's like you're sort of like nailing your flag to the mast there, aren't you? You're committing to a specific strategy now, and it's good to have that option to start on the mediums at Monza, especially after the first lap carnage where you may have to pit early.
Yeah.
It's a bit too early to pit for the hard and go the whole race because you won't get any benefit of pace. So
and you can see here that was his second flying lap on the mediums, and it's a 21.7, and he's actually in danger for getting knocked out.
No, it's not comfortable really.
No, so that could be potentially a waste of using his medium tyres there, but we'll see how it goes. There's still an awful lot left in the session. So just going to see what
just under 10 minutes now.
Cloud F1 back into the session. I'm just going to send him another invite. So just bear with me a few minutes.
track lends itself to that kind of racing, though. Like, you know, with that slipstream effect down the main straights, cars can be quite, as well as that, it's a short lap, so the cars are quite close together in out and out pace. Even if you're missing a bit in the corners, sure, as Shane pointed out earlier on, there's only about 11 or 12 corners, so there's not much to lose.
No.
It does mean the guys who want to be going for pole position today, they really can't afford any mistakes.
No, they can't. They can't really. It's such an easy thing to accidentally get caught up and miss and forget about your pretty much a dead stop as well.
On board of Craig, you know,
connection issues going on here because NASCAR had
does
left,
seem to be, yeah.
Broncos had left, Cloud had left, Cloud F1 and he's back into the session. I just seen NASCAR pop back in. I'm not sure if there's anything in particular happening there, but we'll keep an eye on it anyways, and if maybe we can make a decision. Crew is now
Crew
left.
Masters has left the session too.
I haven't. I've just allowed Kevo in because there's 3 commentators, so Kevo's arrived.
Right.
That's why I've gone. I've done that myself, so I don't need to worry about that.
Right.
I'm watching on the stream, so we're all right.
Okay. So majority of people are in the pits. Dune Vista is out on track.
I'll be back in a minute.
So is Killer J. Killer J looks to be warming up his tyres there, so he's he looks like he's on a lap. His DRS is open. Tyres is on full. You see him into a scary here. Oh, there was a McLaren off the track there.
Yeah,
that was artistic getting out of the way by the looks of it.
Yeah,
I think
McLaren's done well to stay out of the way there. It's a bit of a tricky spot sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to stay on board here for Timo's lap. That looks like it's been an invalid. Yes, it has. Of course, the commentator joining on board. See where Faz is going here. Faz is coming up to the parabolic here. See if he can get a lap time on the board here.
I'd like to see Faz do a lot better than what he did up at Spa. He is capable and he showed the pace at times. It's just the consistency, I think, with Faz he needs to be.
Yeah, I think he was one of
not so much the consistency, sorry, the concentration sometimes, perhaps. We all know he can do it.
That's it, yeah, because he's had a few Q3 appearances in Tier 1, so we definitely know he has the pace to compete with the top guys in Tier 2, but yeah, just needs to put it all together.
I would be inclined to suggest that this is his sort of track, because we know Faz is very good at the likes of Austria.
Yes,
like that, and
yeah.
this is another one of those tracks, as I said before, that the delta between drivers is very small. Like Austria, everyone's on top of each other at Austria. So.
I just want to make a point that exactly what you're saying there. If you look up between Bubbers in P1 and Craigie in P2, there's a tenth of a second between the top 5. So it is very, very close, and the pace is very, very good. These paces are comparable to what we were seeing in Tier 1. Maybe not exactly at the top, but you know, it's only a couple of tenths off what you were seeing in Tier 1 yesterday. So you know, it's looking like it's going to be very close at the top between 4 or 5 guys. The pack does look quite punched.
This is the thing that the tyre choice is going to be critical for Q2, because like you just said there, P1 to P11 is under a second.
Yeah.
So there's 11. That's half your field. So when it comes, so Q2 should be really tasty. Hopefully, might get a bit of a weather change up. That might shake it up properly.
That's true. As well, the delta time between the soft and mediums is projected to be about 0.8 of a second. So when you have a field so tightly bunched, there are drivers if they go for the medium tyre and they don't get the best out of their lap, or if they or if they commit to staying on the mediums and people then go out and go onto the softs, you could be looking from being at the top of Q2 on the mediums and then dropping down as people go out on softs, and you could see yourself finishing P11, P12 and not getting into Q3. So Q2 now will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, it will.
Let's going to check Altamar here. He's just started a lap. Come around the Curva Grande now. Keep himself nice and tight to the inside there. Very nicely done. 11:01. Drop it down to 5th. Should be back down into 5th right here. That's it. That Lesmo 2 is so important to get right, especially in qualifying, because if you have a poor exit, you're just losing time the whole way down this straight. And it's arguably one of the most important corners to get right. And that's an invalid there by Alkmaar. That looked like it was going to be a good lap. Looking at his time, I think I would like to hope that he's using the same tyres as he was on his first one, because he is looking quite safe. If you think about it, 15th at the moment is a 21.9. He's 1.7 up on that delta, so I don't think he really needs to be out there at the moment. But maybe he's just getting himself a bit of practice for a run later on. He's coming into the pit.
Just seeing Liverpool fan as a tired from the session.
Yeah, some of these drivers might be just retiring at the end, and they've decided to.
Well, there's still. Yeah, I suppose. There's Tilmo. Is he still out on the track there? I think he is.
Tilmo is out on track. He's on a set of mediums. He's done 3 laps. He's not on a lap now. He's letting cars by.
Yeah, he'd really want to get around if he's got the fuel.
Red driver's just about to. He's also invalidated the lap before. So drivers seem to be struggling with track limits around here.
Yeah.
So Claude's on an outlap and Tilmo's on an outlap now as well. They should get their laps in.
Kevin needs to shift if he's going to get out. Hopefully he's getting out in time, but I don't think so. Bear in mind I'm moderately behind you fellas because I'm on the stream now.
I think Kevo's left it a bit late. Only 1 minute left in the session, and he's only coming around into the second time.
Well, he might get it. It's a one.
He might just squeeze that.
Yeah, so
he should get that.
Tilmo's out. He's retiring there. Claude now is coming across the line now to start his lap.
Yeah, Glover's
right on board with him.
Safe enough there. So we're on board. We're happy to be here. Looks like he got away with a slight corner cut there, but the game doesn't punish him. We keep going.
Claude's wide in turn 1. He's had an awful first chicane. He must have lost at least half a second easy.
Happy he's made a couple of mistakes there. He made a mistake in Lesmo 1 and 2.
That's some good pace from Happy there. 120.2 P4.
It is very good.
Yeah, Lesmo 2 is like we just said before. I've just caught up with it now, and be just to see what Kevo pulls out of the bag if he can make it. He should do. Just going into the Parabolica now, I think.
Kevo did not get across the line in time. He is
Kevo will not be happy with that. He's one of the strong contenders for today's win, you know, so he'll be fighting from the back of the field.
St. Anthony Stand has just come out of the pits, but the session is over, so
Claude is coming up to the line now.
But he is safe by the looks of it, so there is no need for him to...
Claude has got himself up to 14th position. He's out there getting himself through. Liverpool fan, Shadow Moody is out. Liverpool fan is on the cusp. Brilliant.
Artistic's lap is invalidated, so Artistic won't be able to set another lap time. The session is over for himself. Alpha Stuns is out because of an accident what we've seen. I think it was at the Escarby chicane. Kevo 140 missed out by seconds. he wasn't able to set a lap time as time expired. Tilmo, strange. He got a 1:25.9. He set it on mediums. Again, he's probably thinking along the same lines as Spectrev was at the start. Now, Spectrev did get through into Q2 with the mediums, with his lap, but he did go out on softs. So that's another thing to think of. He's now used a set of mediums and a set of softs. So he potentially could be only doing one run later on in Q3 if he gets to that. If he gets to Q3, so it's interesting. There's some good performances there, as you mentioned there, crew. Happy to be here with a great time at 1:20.2. He's right in there with the top guys. So looking forward now to seeing what they do in Q2.
I mean the top 5, like you said before, it was 4 before, but now it's 5. They're within a 10 of each other. So again, tyre choice for Q2 is going to be up there. So what did you say it was for the Delta, around about 0.8?
It's about 0.8 between soft and mediums, yeah. So and as well, if you are trying to
so
start
that
on
seems to
mediums,
be it. So in the first Q1 we have knocked out. We've got Shadow in 16th, we've got Tilmo in 17th, Kevo 18th, Alpha Stun in 19th, and bringing up the rear we have Artistic Genius. So that is qualifying 1. Done and dusted with. Liverpool fan is also knocked out. He's in 15th. So there we have it, boys. Everyone seemed to be doing their times on the softs except for Spectrev. He was on the mediums.
yeah.
Just about got
Tilmo.
through though. He was close enough to that cut-off point, to be honest.
He was, yeah. I'd like to actually see what happened.
so
I think
that-
Liverpool might have actually crashed because
It looks
if you
like
look at
it,
his
yeah,
time-
because his time would have put him in P8. So
Yeah.
it looks like he crashed out the session.
yeah, that's
He will not be
unfortunate.
happy with that one.
No.
Not at all. Especially when you've done the deed with the lap time, and then you crash on the second one. You know, like no need risking it in some cases.
I'm sure we've had examples of that previously this season where drivers that are safe and are going to get into the next session pretty much with pretty much certainty. They go out, try to better the time, and then they crash, and then they're out of qualifying. So Q1 is all about just getting in there, using one set of tyre. Making sure that you don't invalidate your lap time. Carry an extra lap or two of fuel just to make sure that if you do invalidate, you still have enough fuel in the car to start another lap and to get in.
Taking Hammond's easy.
Yeah.
So the green light is at the end of the pit lane for the last 30 odd seconds. The cars are just coming out of the garages now. Coming in the 3 cars there now, maybe trying to get a bit of a slipstream on their qualifying lap. That would definitely help you, I suppose, down the straights, but you wouldn't really want it in Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2 area. They'll definitely compromise the aero there.
Just looking at the comments here from the feed, and I can see here that Spider-Man was told Big Knuckles that he would want to get his finger out. So putting a bit of pressure there on his friend there, Big Knuckles.
There we go. Big Knuckles needs to get his act together.
And see here's what Artistic is using his wheel again. So fair play. He's only got his wheel this week, so fair play. He's putting in the time to get the practice and get better with that. So good luck, Artistic.
Putting the
We'll be
grind
rooting
in.
for you.
Yeah, definitely putting the grind in. He seemed to be doing some smooth corners there when I was on board with him, and just needs to get the minimum apex speed up and a little bit more on the power. But yeah, he's doing well.
I think TKD man is the first guy on track. He is coming into Scary now, so what we'll do is we'll ride on board with him for the first one. He's on medium tyres. I'm just going to check now what tyres everyone is on. So pretty much everybody is on mediums. Killer J is on softs. NASCAR fan is on soft. Big Knuckles on softs. Happy to be here on softs. Spectrev is still in the pit, but he's on soft, so that is looking like what we did expect from Q1, that he was going to look to do his run in Q2 on the soft tire. So yeah, we'll jump on board here with TKD man, and we'll have a look at his lap time here. So he looked like he turned in a bit
2
early
points to
there.
the cherry. Go ahead, Tank.
Yeah, so he's running up here to the Curva Grande, keeping himself tight into the inside there, making it the shortest distance to the corner. coming into the braking zone, you want to be braking just after 100, or even with these new cars now, the braking performance is so good, you can even brake after the 100. It's actually incredible to see how these cars are able to go from over 200 mile an hour down to 50, 60 in a matter of a couple of metres. Wasn't a great exit there outside after the Lesmo 2. I will compromise it run now up to the Ascari chicane. Now there is a couple of cars in front, so let's hope that they are aware of the car behind on a green lap. So took the Ascari chicane. It was going well, just hit the curb on the exit there, which did unsettle the rear. He actually might get a bit of benefit here from this car. He might get a bit of slipstream out of the parabolic now. So took that a bit tight there. Compromise mid corner. He's on the exit now. Yeah, 21-0. It's not bad. Bubbers with a 19.9 on soft. That's a very, very good lap. So Bubbers has made his mind up there. He's after going a push lap there on the soft tyres.
TKD man just seems to be struggling with that turbo on entrance. He's had another second bite of the cherry there and there. He's just a little bit not in his sweet spot, I suppose, but hopefully during the rest of qualifying and into the race he can find his rhythm. He should be on point then.
Bubbers with a 1:19.9 there. It's the fastest lap time we've had so far. It's 2 tenths up, maybe 2.5 tenths up on his Q1 time there.
As the sessions go on, the track is getting more rubbered in from the amount of cars. There's 20 cars out on track, so that will help. There will be a bit of track evolution going on, so it is expected to go a bit faster. Maybe Bubbers, he wasn't pushing as hard as he was, to 100% capacity in Q1. So you start to get a bit more in tune with the track. You're evolving as a driver as well. You're fine tuning your corners, your braking points, your exits. So, but it still is a very, very good team. At the moment, he's a second up on. As I said, that Knockos was put in a 20.1 there. So, Knockos going for the soft tire start as well. Killer J with a 20.5.
I was about to say, Killer J's got a lovely toe from Bubbers on the back straight.
I will be honest, I was on board with the guy there now. He just wasn't as tight as he'd want to be. He definitely has a couple of tenths left on the table there. Always nice to know that, I suppose, in the back of your mind.
So TKD man, he just done the one run on the medium tyre. I do think that's probably the best thing to do, especially if it is a green race and if he is planning on doing a medium to soft. As I said earlier, the tyre wear, it is possible, but the tyre wear is quite high, so every lap counts. So he's done the one lap there on the medium tyre, and he's probably, I can see here, he's changed his tyres to soft in the pits, so he's getting himself ready to probably do another one on the soft tyre later on in qualifying.
On board of Craigie here, going through the second Lesmo. Too bad of an exit now. Coming down the back straight into the last chicane. Yellow flags coming up. Sweeping it in to the left. A little bit wide but not too bad. Nice and neat on the right, left again. Onto the back straight now, coming down into the last corner. Flat out now. Down by the grandstands on the left and the right hand side. Hard on the brake of the 50, turn it in. Important not to get too easy on the throttle there. He was run wide but lovely in between the lines. And a blast now towards the last, to the start line. Still in 7th, 121.1.
Equaz saying that Bubbers is looking strong at Monza. I think I have to agree with that, mate. Absolutely, 100%.
Definitely. Bubbers was racing in Tier 1 yesterday, and he had a great race. He did, unfortunately, DNF yesterday, but he was running up in the top 3 positions at the start of the race, so the pace was there, definitely.
I think Bubbers has the tendency at times to fall into the category of, like Fazzy we were saying before, about we know he's got the pace, we know he's able to pull results off, but it's sticking it all together at the races, isn't it, really?
That's it.
On board of Faz there, he was in the grass halfway down the straight there, so it definitely won't help his shot of getting through a Q2 with that stuff, but not looking too bad in turn 1 in fairness to the guy.
I'm following Anthony Stan. He's the pole sitter from last week, and he's on a set of mediums here now. He's just coming into the Ascari chicane. He's took the entrance quite well. He avoided the curve, and he had a great run out of Ascari. So this could be a good lap here. He's coming up to the Parabolica now.
Spider-Man asking the question about the delta between Q1 and Q2 times. Well, Bubba's got first in Q1 with a 119, a 120.2 if I'm not mistaken, or very low, 120.1 perhaps. So the track is rubbering in a bit now. The top 10 were separated by less than a second in Q1 as well.
The pole time yesterday for Tier 1 was a 1:19.1, so we'll keep an eye on that time for the last runs in Q3. So that will give us a better idea of the gap there between Tier 1 and Tier 2.
And thank you for answering the question he actually asked there, Shane, rather than what the hell I was whittering on about. I misread what he said completely.
No, he said thus far. I think he did answer the question correctly. He does say thus far, so. But it will give us a better. I'm not sure of the best time in Q2, for example, and I know that quite a lot more drivers yesterday done their laps in on the medium tyre. I think there was only two or three drivers in Q2 set out of the top 10 that set their time on the soft. So
I did mine in the softs, and I think I was a 120.7, and that was around about P6ish. P7
right.
In Q2.
Yeah. Happy's out on track. He's done 5 laps on these tyres now, so I'm hoping he's not planning on starting the race with these.
Yeah, I think he sometimes forgets about that, to be fair, and this is no disrespect to Happy, but he's not used to being in a Q2 in Tier 1, so I mean, it may just be a case he's not fully familiar with the regulations.
Just looking at Dune Vista now, he's just finishing a lap time here. He's on board. At the moment he's into 11, he's just coming into the Parabolica, and he's done that pretty well. Maybe could have carried a bit more speed there. You kind of do want to be there to carry as much speed as possible through P6.
Not that bad. He's after lifting off there as well, so that might be him done. He's just keeping the freshness in his tyres as much as he can. Will he be safe enough though? 121.0. It's quite close. Like 10th is 121.2, and they're all out on laps now, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
We've got a NASCAR fan on a set of mediums in 11th. He's on an out lap too. It's looking like.
He's had a great lap time there now.
Is it worth having a quick chat with Craigie if you can hear us at the minute?
Yes.
You set a decent lap time there, Craigie. 121.18 on the mediums. How was it out there, mate?
It's not too bad. It's a bit cold, so the mediums aren't working so well. So 3 laps to finally come up the temperature, but it's still not good enough. So I think I need to go and hit another one just to be sure on the softs.
Yeah. So what's the outlook for the weather? How's the rest of the weather going to be for the rest of the weekend?
Well, the race says it's supposed to be a cold start, but then it's sunny for the 2/3 of the race.
Happy days, mate. Happy days. Well, I'll leave you to it, mate. Best of luck for your next run.
Thank you very much.
Sadistic King is just after setting a 1:19.999 to put him up into P2. So looks like Bubbers has some competition there now for the fight for pole position. There's probably 5 or 6 drivers in this list here that, if they can get themselves into Q3, are fighting for pole position. So it's looking very interesting. We did forget to mention that it looks like Faz has had a moment on track and has retired without setting a lap time there. So unfortunate for Fazzy there. He'll be starting down in 14th position. But the race will be long, so with strategy and timing and how safety cars go and how turn 1 is going to go, because we all know what Monza's like in turn 1. Your race could look quite bleak at the start and could turn around in a moment's notice. So
driver of the day candidate written all over it. That's Fuzzy.
Interesting one there to hear from Craig now, driver's eye view during the qualifying, the way the mediums are struggling to heat up there during the qualifying runs. And in result of that then, obviously it's reflected then in the Q2 standings. First down to sixth, they've all set the fastest lap time on a set of softs. And then we've got Eltamar as the first guy on mediums. And then 8th place is on softs with Domed. And then 9th and 10th are on a set of mediums too. So, and you can only imagine the guys in 9th and 10th will be probably putting on a set of softs to try and improve their chances. So it's going to be an interesting end to this qualifying too.
It's pretty much what I ended up having to do for different circumstances, because it wasn't on the Monday's race. It wasn't quite as cool as this, but I was in and around that cusp. I think around about 8th or maybe 9th or 10th or something on the mediums, and I felt I had to jump on the dots last second. So yeah, it's always it never surprises me how quickly all your tyres change and the time all from yellows to reds. It's magic.
Craig is just coming into the Scarry chicane now. He's just on the exit. Good exit out there. And he's on the run for the parabolic. NASCAR is just retired. I don't know if that was on track or if that was a yellow flag in the first.
On track.
In the second, there is a
He's
yellow
still
flag.
moving.
Crazy over the line now. It's the P7, 20.5. Well, Elfmar's going to start a lap time now, so we can get a full lap in on board with Elfmar here.
Eltamar now coming down into turn 1. Important to pick your braking zone here. You don't want to lose your lap at the very start. Smash it down the gears. Nice apex turn 1. Open up turn 2 and hard on the throttle then coming out of that chicane. They bring you the speed all the way through Curva Grande. Keep to the right hand side. Don't add extra meters to your lap time. And coming down now into the second chicane. Important again to pick your braking points and your apexes. Early on the throttle, careful of the gravel on the left hand side. Now down into Lesmo 1, sweeping in really quickly. The little bit of understeer isn't too bad through there, and then a good sweep through turn Lesmo 2. Important to get on the power early, the DRS zone, and you're carrying all that speed down the straight now, underneath the old track, through the bridge. Coming down into the last chicane, a really fast left-hander, careful of the curbs. He's after getting an invalid. The stewards are very strict on this weekend, as we know, but it's the same for everybody. So it looks like he's gonna have to try and get a second lap in. Oh, he doesn't have time. He's out. He's on the 10th place there. So yeah, that's a shame for Eltamar there. Just pushing it a little bit too hard. Let's see if anyone behind him.
Well, it looks like he's got away with it. He's just about got away with it. He's got, I believe he's got his wish on starting on the medium, does he not?
I think that's true. Yeah, and quite surprising, Anthony Stan there, the pole sitter from last week in Tier 2's first race, is out starting P12 now for Italy, which is quite surprising. I thought he'd be up there fighting for pole. Happy to be here. Did go out on mediums, but he didn't cross the line in time, so if you're going to count his out lap and his in lap, he's going to be starting on tyres that are 8 laps old, and you're looking at soft realistically going to lap 10, lap 11. So
yeah.
I think he's after putting himself into a sticky situation there.
So there we go, boys. Q3 is over there. We've got Doom knocked out in 11th, Anthony in 12th, NASCAR in 13th, Faz in 14th, and we already know Liverpool crashed out in the Q1. So there we go.
So yeah, again, looking at those times, gentlemen, top 10, all under a second again.
Wow.
Yeah, and only one driver starting the race on medium tyre, so Eltamar could be in a great position now starting this race.
That's perfect, really.
In 10th as well, though, so not...
Well, he's contending Q2, but he could get pole now, and he starts...
Oh, that's quite true. That's quite true.
So there's an awful lot of support here for TKDM. Optics there said TKDM for pole here. Kinet seems to be supporting Eltamar. Sam Wayne is saying TKDM pole for sure. And Harry Moss there saying TKDM easy. So an awful lot of support there for TKDM in his first official drive in PLR as a Tier 2 driver. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do now come Q3. He had a good race yesterday, the day before I should say, on Monday. in Tier 1. So yeah, there's a few. As I said earlier, there's about 4 or 5 drivers at least in this out of these 10 that I can see getting pole, and there probably even be a surprise as well. There's some new guys here that Cloud F1 is his first time racing with us. This is his debut. You have Killer J here as well. There's a few guys here. Sadistic King is in his debut as well, and he was in the 119s there in Q2. So yeah, it's anyone's. It's definitely anyone's pole position. It's up for grabs.
Spider-Man makes a perfect point then. A good pizza needs some meat. Big Knockers will be bringing the sausage during Q3. I have no doubt of that. I have no doubt for that, Spider-Man. No doubt of that, Spider-Man. It's like we said last week, mate. You need to break a few eggs to make an omelette, and we've seen a couple of eggs smashed so far. We're just waiting for the big fat ostrich egg again. We will see it soon.
I think this omelette is going to be made into Turn 1 anyways, but how Tier 1 went.
No additional seasoning required.
We'll see if it's a hard boiled egg or a soft one now. T1 now, you know. See how it goes. See if it's all scrambled or mashed.
Be one spicy meatball.
TKD man is looks to be the first guy on track as well, so we'll actually go on board with him. Lemony, do you want to jump on board with him there?
Yeah, cool. So we're on TKD man, going down the main straight now. Top it out at 214 mile an hour. Pick your braking points. Easy on the right hand, open up the left, and then power down straight out the exit. Don't touch that curve on the outside, it'll compromise with a bit of wheel spin. Keep it close now for through Curva Grande, as you pointed out before, Shane. Don't add extra meters onto your total track length. Now into the second chicane. Down. Maybe it looks like he's a little bit true on that one.
Yes, he has.
Invalidated.
It's definitely the course of commentator today, because basically every driver that we've been on board with have invalidated their lap time when we've been on board. So I don't know who to look at now, you know, because I feel like I'm going to jinx them. So well, we're on board with Craig. We're on board with Craig. He's coming into the second Lesmo. Oh. Good exit. Yeah. He's on the run now down to the Sky chicane here. This corner is one that is catching people out a lot as well. He took that a bit gingerly. He wasn't 100% confident there on the entry, but he is on the run now up to the parabolic bit. Moving on to the left hand side of the track. This is coming into the braking zone now. Down into 5th gear. And back on the power, making the run now for the.
If there's anyone on this grid who knows anything about onwards, it's Craigie, the master chef. It really is. He knows no seasons required around here.
Bubber's with a time 4 seconds off the pace, so it was either a mistake or he's just bringing his tyres up to temperature quite slowly. He's just invalidated his following lap time there. Eltmar with a 119.4.
He's got a lovely. He got a lovely pole as well.
Tier 1.
Oh, 119.4, Eltmar. After he squeezed in on the mediums as well.
That's it.
That's the quickest lap of the session, all 3 sessions so far.
Killer J just crossing the line now. He's up to the big knockers there with squeezed in as well to 120.0.
Telling you, there's a few boys there who'll be able to qualify me in Tier 1.
Spectre fit the race
on the door, right?
across the line. Puts himself P3. There's a big gap there between Eltmar and the rest. There's 6 tenths.
Do you reckon that's everyone? Sorry, Craig.
Knockos has definitely fetched the sausage so far for the front row, absolutely bringing the big salami.
Eva says vegan pizza for artistic. That's true.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Bit of crust on the outside of some nice tomato sauce, and you can't go wrong. Big knockouts and all, as you say there, crew. 120.0 down. There's a good 6-10 gap. Do we reckon
TKD man?
TKD on the 19.8 in the second place. But do we reckon that's people just putting a banker lap in? How important we seen earlier on the Q2, people making mistakes.
Yeah.
So
100%.
these guys must be just getting their times in, and they're really going to push now for Q3.
That's what you really should be doing on your first run in Q3. You can see how easy it is to get corner puts and invalidate laps and stuff like that. So to me, you go out, you do a lap time, you feel what the track is like, you set your lap time. It doesn't have to be, once you're thereabouts, that you can set. You know, maybe it's not 100%, but you're driving to maybe 98%. You know, and you get your banker in there, and then your last one, then you can push it a bit more, knowing that you have a time in the bank there. It happened to me yesterday on Monday. I put a banker in, and unfortunately invalidated my second one, but still was good enough to start P3 in the race. So it's better than invalidating the
I'm
first
bored.
and
I'm
then
happy to be
invalidating
here. He's on another lap.
I've got to say about Happy. I hope this isn't too bittersweet for him, because the lad is, all 3 sessions so far, I think he's been within half a tenth of his lap time. He's done 3 laps at 1:20.4 each time. And
this is looking pretty.
It's such a shame that he's going to be starting on such shredded tyres to begin with.
Yeah,
he's been incredibly consistent throughout this session.
well, we'll help him with an early safety car. If there's an early safety car in lap 1 or 2, he just goes straight off those tyres and he's back in the mix.
Exactly,
He's
yeah.
across the line now. Has he improved? He has.
Oh, what a lap
19.6. What a
time,
lap
yeah.
by Happy.
Yeah, brilliant. Look at that. He might not know the rules, but he knows he's got the talent to keep it up there, starting on the front row so far.
I'm reacting a little bit slower than you two, because he's literally just crossed the line now for me, but that's a great lap from Happy. Well done, mate. Well done.
Fantastic it was. We got the last of it there on the feed, but I've been watching it since turn 1. Fantastic. He hit every apex, all the braking zones. Lovely sweeping through the corners. No, just a little bit on the white lines. Just brilliant. Very good lap.
It looks like he is very happy to be here today. So he should be with that time.
A couple of guys on their out laps at the moment. Statistic has come out as well. He's just started his lap time. His lap, I think. Double check that now. Yes, he is. He's using his full airs to his airs are to the max at the moment. So we'll go on board. Coming into the second chicane here now. Oh, that looks like a corner cut.
Yeah, that's a corner cut. That's an invalidation there. The guys are getting caught out.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's pushing the boundaries, and that's it. Like it's, you know, it's all that extra 10. We've seen how close it was in Q1 and Q2, and that little bit extra, you know, cutting the corner a tiny bit more pays off dividends if you can keep it when you can keep one wheel on the track. But unfortunately, there's been a few drivers that haven't been able to do that today. Now I wonder if he has enough fuel, or is he going to come in and box? He has turned everything down. He's going to go on board with Craigie here. Has Craigie started his lap? He has. Craigie's moving to 11.01. He ran a bit wide there, but still going. Yep, good exit there out of 11.02.
It's like what Gav was saying before, it's not the end of the world if you ever touch an understeer to reverse Lesmo there.
Yeah.
As long as you carry that speed through and you have a nice tidy exit, so you can get away with it.
I think that's the trick around here, crew. You know, you got a good setup on the car. If there is that bit of understeer through that Lesmo 1, because then with Lesmo 2 then and the rest of the corners, that bit of understeer through Lesmo 1 turns into just a perfectly balanced car. There's not much of a difference, and that's what you really need around here. It's just a nicely balanced car. You get that power on through exit, the braking zones down, and also the turn-in opportunities. Keep the car stable.
That just said at 120.1 there. But I don't think he has
Craigie to a 120.0.
Yeah, Craigie to a 120.4.
Try to catch guys here coming over. Killer J now is making his run up to the last corner. Here's Renault coming about. Here's that Renault coming up the pits.
I've got to be rooting for Bubba's here. Team Williams representing Williams. Come on, Bubba's.
Happy to be here. It's the Renault here, you know, but no biasm in this commentary booth.
Oh! I just saw Williams and the Bubbers in the wall!
Oh, is that a case of commentating again?
Yes!
My word almighty.
Oh, Bubbers.
Yes, he's unfortunately in the wall there.
Bubbers did a boo.
His Williams teammate is on track, and he is coming around into this scary chicane here, and he's had a good line at the entry.
Ah, in that case then.
Taking that well.
Craig invalidated his second lap.
Of the race, lap here. You do see there is a couple of cars about to finish a lap time. That looks like a Haas and a Ferrari.
Haas.
He's invalid. Oh, he hasn't invalidated because I think he lost a bit of time going over there.
Spec Drive is on his final flyer now, it looks like.
Yes,
So
he
there's
is.
Eltamar, he's on an outlap.
We keep an eye on Eltmar when he starts his lap.
What do you reckon he can get into the 118 club, do we think?
There'll be a push, but it is possible.
Am I right in thinking, everybody, that Bubbers was actually on his outlap when he spun, so...
Yes. Unless he's got some damage, he might have got away with it.
Yeah. No, it
Okay,
looks like he's in
crossing
the
the
pit
line.
lane. Bubbers will not be happy with that.
Claude moves up to P8 and the other Williams and just in a 120, pretty much 120.3.
I think the Ferrari, I do think Spectre is going to be the first guy to cross the line, so I'm going to just go on board of him. He's the one closest to finishing the lap, so we'll just watch him coming around here. But Cloud is
Lovely
out, Cloud is
taken.
retired. He did take that very well.
Yeah. Scary was beautifully done.
That was nice.
Coming down now into Parabolica.
Yeah, took that
Bouncing
well.
off the rev limiter there in fourth gear. May have lost himself a little bit of drive, but coming across the line.
You
That
know,
is sixth. He can still do another lap though. Purple in the
Yeah,
third
in the
sector,
he
but he
was
wasn't
purple,
able to
yeah.
improve.
He has retired. He probably doesn't have enough fuel left. So there is a
Alright.
See again,
Knuckles.
fellas, the top 8 again, still within a second, pending Eltamar's next lap.
Knuckles has crossed the line. Happy's crossed the line. It's Killer J and Sadistic left, and Eltmar is out on track 2. He is not going for a lap.
Eltamar's backed off.
Yeah.
Sadistic coming into the Parabolica now. He at the moment doesn't have a lap time set, so see what he can do. Can he snatch pole from Eltmar?
Cross the line!
He's in P4, so he's pushed Craigie down to P5. And that is everybody. Everybody is either retired in the pits or have set their last time lap. So that is our starting grid now. That's our top 10. Eltmar on pole with a fantastic lap on his first run. As I said earlier, he's only 3/10 off the pole lap for Tier 1. He would have started in and around P3, P4 with that lap time from Monday. So fantastic lap there. Happy to be here. What a performance in Q3.
Bittersweet for Happy.
With Q2, that's the only thing.
Bittersweet for Happy.
Yeah.
Some strong pace shown there now, but look at that, 4th place all the way down to 7th, all within about a tenth of each other.
Yeah.
The top
But
line,
that's-
the top 9's within 9/10 in the whole, just over a second. So I
Yeah.
mean, this is what I'm saying. I've been saying the whole session.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
how
so from
close it is.
Sadistic King in P4 down to Spectriv in P7, it is 0.08 of a second. Quicker than it takes to to blink your eye, basically, or to wink. So that's pretty quick.
I'm glad you said wink there.
Yeah. Way.
That would roughly translate to about the size of the front wing or the size of the wheel distance between
at
the whole
pace that they're
between
going
the
across
cars.
the line, it would be in and around that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say,
we're
Eltmar, what a
looking-
fantastic drive there. He's over a quarter of a second ahead of the next car, and he's the only guy starting on mediums too. So he really is in pole position for the race. Just hoping now that as Ken just popped in and said there in the comments, hope Eltmar will have a safe first corner. Unfortunately, but Ken was on pole and didn't get through very luckily, so he ended up down in P12 after the first corner. So hopefully now we can have a good race here, get through the turn 1 cleanly and have some good clean racing.
So there we have it. The qualifying is over. Now we're waiting for the drivers to take their place on the grid. We have the loading on the right hand side there. The session starts in 25 seconds. Guys, are we expecting to see, I think it might be about 50-50. There's obviously going to be a couple of mistakes through this Grand Prix. Guys are going to be racing hard. But who do we reckon is going to take the win today?
I think.
You go ahead, Craig.
I think. I think Eltamar has just played an absolute blinder, squeezing into Q3 by the skin of his you-know-whats on the mediums in P10, and then just setting an absolute flyer.
This should be a formation lap, lads. So it's not the start of the race here. Sorry for interrupting there, Crew.
No, you're right. That's fine. You're fine. So, yeah, I'm after you, Shane. But I forgot what we were saying.
No, I agree with you. I think Aldemar is in prime position here. He's starting on the medium tyre. He's the only driver in the top 10 starting on the mediums from what we've seen in Q2. I will actually just double check what everyone else is starting on, because it'd be nice to see what people are thinking about in terms of their tyre situation. So
I'm interested to see what Anthony Stan's starting on.
right, Anthony Stan is starting
disappointed
on the soft. So Doom Vista is P11. He's starting on the mediums. Liverpool Fan is starting on the mediums. Alpha Stuns in P17 is starting on the mediums, and Kevo in P20 is starting on the hards. And to be honest, if I'm not in the top 10, I would have went with the hard tyre. Or well, the mediums. I suppose the fresh set mediums can go probably 18 to 20 laps, and then it's a 27 lap race, so you could maybe actually going with the mediums probably would be the better decision.
It probably would, but with the hard tyre, he's giving himself a few more options there if the safety car comes out. I think if safety car comes early, you can always jump in for the mediums.
Yeah.
No,
I just wanted to get a quick word from Craigie there just before the start of the race. Craigie, what's your feelings towards the race? You're starting P5. Are you looking forward to turn 1?
Just trying to get the tyres warmed up just now. It's not a good set of tyres we've got on because I've done 4 laps in them, but yeah, we'll see what happens. It's just going to be all about turn 1, I guess, to see nice clean racing at the first corner. It would be nice. As you know, Tier 1 was pretty shambolic.
Yeah.
So it'll be just good to get off to the start and everybody clean out the first corners, no damage, no corner cuts. It'll be just good to get it going.
Yeah.
Good luck, Craigie.
The one thing we need to point out about Elfmar on the
best.
mediums is that he will have a slightly less grip at the start. He'll have his start compared to the likes of Happy, and well, Happy's tyres are quite worn. But I'd be looking at TKD man to maybe be making a move for P1 into turn 1 here. If he can nail his start.
Here we go, boys. And it looks like we have a no start.
At the light.
Interesting.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there seems to have gone off now, though.
Right, there looks like there's a bit of someone's in the grass at the back there.
That looks like it's artistic. Battle for the lead into turn 1. Oh, so it's carrying the grass already.
Wide. They done.
Looking very good from everybody through there so far. Red Bull off into the grass.
Doing this, they got a 5-second penalty there for gaining position off track.
And looking at Faz there, looking at Craig here as well.
Sadistic King has left the session. I think he was that Red Bull that got squeezed off the track.
Oh, looks like Craig's out there getting pushed onto the gravel on the exit there. From Lesmo 2, compromised down the exit, down the back straight now. Had an awful run there.
Will you send me quick invites? You need someone left.
Yeah, can you send Sadistic King an invite? I'll try again.
Pole sitter. So we're on the safety car here. That's going to help the guys out there, especially like Craig and Happy there with the older tyres. Definitely worth coming in. Maybe, as you say, Shane, set on a set of hards, or maybe stick on a medium, do a medium towards the end. What do you think?
Yeah. Or you can even go medium soft if you have another set of softs there, fresh set of soft. You could stick on a set of mediums now. It'll get you to about lap 20, 21. Easy enough, and, you know, going to a quick stint at the end and onto the soft tires and again as much ground up as you can. A couple of drivers there, yeah, we did miss. I was trying to get Sadistic back into the lobby there, but I did miss there that Anthony Stan and
Killer's going in, Craig's in the pit lane.
He has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Happy to be here, didn't pull into the pit lane.
I think it's a AI on track, to be honest. I did see that it flashed up saying he left the session.
Crew has joined, so...
Yep, I'm back in because Anthony Stan's gone.
Good man.
So I can watch it live now rather than on the stream. Excellent.
Pity about Anthony Stan. I might reach out to him on Discord and see what happened to the two of them. Actually, that might be something that stewards might need to be looking at the end of the race, but... Very strange for him to be out so early on. He must have had, especially into the wall there in the exit of turn 1, must have had some sort of contact. It's hard to lose the car there, really, if you think about it.
I did see from the onboard there was a Red Bull pushed slightly wide, by the looks of it, on the exit of turn 1. I'm not sure now. I don't think Anthony Stan is in the Red Bull. I'm not 100% sure what
I seen that at the start. But what actually happened was the Red Bull almost like he broke then on the grass, let all the cars go by, and then accelerated on. So he did get pushed out there, but it was almost as if he didn't want to rejoin.
The two Red Bulls are still on track, so it wasn't involved in, there wasn't anything to do with that. But Anthony Stan and Claude F1 are both out of the race, so I am thinking that it was something to do with contact between the two drivers there. But yeah. So Eltmar is down to P2. TKD man did get him using those soft tyres at the start of the race. I am quite surprised that Happy didn't take the advantage of an early safety car to get off those old tyres, but yeah, he must feel quite confident and he's driving those tyres there. So there was just an overtake there. Happy's coming into the pits now. Happy is coming into the pits now.
NASCAR fan, severe collision with City.
Yeah, that's the second one I've seen from himself. That's the second.
You know, this safety car thing, right? We've all said it there before, and you know we've been caught out as well in Tier 1. But this safety car is periods. People, they cannot lose concentration because they can either speed out of the safety car or the virtual safety car as well, and you get yourself a drive-through penalty, like, you know, and that's just a race done and dusted with. Then as well, you can crash into someone who's warming their brakes or not necessarily, especially under the safety car. It's very easy to do. And then, yeah, like, your race is ruined. So you do need to concentrate almost more under the safety car because it's out of the ordinary. It's interrupting your rhythm more like.
Eltmar, 5-second penalty for collision with Spectrum. That's under safety car. That could play a big impact to his race now.
There's that point proven right there.
In the pit stop.
Just looking at the standings now. I'll say Alpha and Kevo in P7 and P8, big winners there, making up 10 and 12 places respectively. Kevo from P20 up to P8.
Well,
he's got a nice tidy front wing, then he's set himself up right proper there. Well done, yeah.
Yeah. Kevo's definitely, we said it last time out, he's one of these elbows out drivers, but he's Mr. Consistent. He keeps his nose clean, picks people off when he can. Alright, near the end of the race, you know, is near the end of the race, but he always seems to be thereabouts, has the pace, and he does make his way up through the grid the further on the Grand Prix goes.
Yeah. And he's on the hard tyres, don't forget, as well, so he is going long into this race. And there will be, at the restart, he will be probably losing a bit of time. I think they're just restarting now.
He's got to keep them tyres boiling hot. He's got to keep them piping hot.
That would be interesting to see how Kev progresses through this Grand Prix there, Shane, because this is the strategy that you initially and run your own own race. Let everyone else have these mistakes and incidences, and then by the end of the race, you might be able to capitalise on a safety car the same as everyone else, and hey presto, you've got the track position and your new set of tyre.
Yeah, and hard tyre, the degradation isn't that bad either. So, just for example, you look at the guys, Knockos, Spectriv and TKD man on the soft, they're going to be stopping probably in the next 5 to 6 laps. So if they come out on hards in and around that time, the delta time between what they are going to be lapping on the hards compared to what Kevo's lapping on the hards isn't going to be huge. There will be a tyre difference, there will be a delta difference, but it wouldn't be as big as say going if he was on say the mediums, and the mediums by lap 11-12 are kind of falling off the cliff or such, or they're getting close to it, you know, they'd be about 30-40% worn. These hards there should still be a good bit of life left on these hards when it gets to the time that these guys on softs are making their stop. So he's in a good position now. If he just keeps his nose clean, as you said earlier there, if he keeps his nose clean, races his own race, and drives smart, he could be on for an awful lot of points in this race. Especially with Eltmar now having that grid penalty, not the grid penalty, the 5-second penalty that you'll serve on their safety car on pit stop. Safety car is in this lap, so we'll go back here to the leader and we'll have a look at this race start here. Equals there, the longest safety car in the history, F1 history. It did feel like it.
Right on board with Kevo for this start.
Spectrum with a 5-second penalty now with Eltmar. The driving, from what we can see with these penalties, isn't been great under safety car. There's another one, Eltmar now with a 5-second penalty with a collision with Spectrum. So he now has 10 seconds worth of penalties, and these aren't removable because sure this is something that has popped up earlier on in the season. So Kevin now with a 5-second penalty under safety car. So TKD man is using as much track as he's allowed to. There seems to be an awful lot of collisions going on back down the pack. TKD man is gone. He pulled one of the Valtteri Bottas in Mugello moves there. He waited until the last moment he can, which is well within his rights to do. Once the racing doesn't start until the start finish line, he has every right to go at that moment in time, and he's already pulled out a gap of over a second there to Eltmar.
Shadow Moody had a bit of an incident there into T1 and T2. He ended up around about P6, dropped down to P15. I don't know what's gone on there.
Right, it does look like he might have a bit of wing damage as well on the left hand side. Trying to look here from the broadcast angle. And NASCAR is up his gearbox as well. Yeah, he does have some front end wing plate damage there. Yeah, he has NASCAR on his gearbox there. So Dylan Fisker is very close to the back of Craigie. Megan has a great run out of this Scary chicane there.
Not sure if Kevo got caught out a little bit with his tyres, or the fact I think there was a bit of an issue there, because at one point Shadow Moody did pass him, and it might have been a case of the game doing the old return position stuff.
Yeah.
Kevo was down at P12 at one point.
Yeah.
He's a bit more work to do now, especially with that penalty he just landed.
Yeah, there was an awful lot of penalties at the start race. Spectre was all over the back of Eltmar now, coming into the second chicane here. He's using overtake, he's going for the move. He thought better of it, and he had to fight another day. Sadistic is quite close though. There's a move here coming into Lesmo 1 with the teammates there. That was a good move there by Sadistic. A couple of move covers and Faz into Lesmo 1 as well. There's been quite a lot of activity here, a lot of position changes going on since the restart of the race. TKD man, the guy in first, has a 3-second penalty for multiple collision, multiple warnings. Baz just passed NASCAR into, Bubbers into Parabolica here. We do expect Bubbers to get a good run. Eltimar with a 3-second penalty now as well.
Oh, they're all a little bit wide through that corner. Battling hard, side by side through Curva Grande. Yeah. No, the Force India just ducks in, the Pink Panther.
Is he going for a move? Thought better of it. Kevo now with a 3-second penalty. There's been quite a lot. Kevo's out of the race.
Safety car boy there.
Kevo looks like he had an accident there coming out of the second chicane there.
Oh,
he
Kevo.
Looks like he spun over to the inside. I can see there on the map that was on the exit. Yeah, and Sadistic is out too.
Artistic here.
I don't know what happened to Sadistic there. He seemed to crash in the safety car, which is strange.
No, we got a... There's Kevo, we must have lost it on the exit. On the chicane.
Oh, that car was...
Sadistic. Sadistic, somebody had contact with Sadistic there. That might be something. I seen it pop down on the bottom there.
Someone had a severe contact with during the safety car. The safety car was already on track. Well, it was already declared as such. So it's a strange.
Obviously, we didn't see it now on our TV broadcast, but it'd be interesting to see the driver on board then after the race, because maybe the drivers got caught out by that safety car. It's one of them mightn't have seen the safety car flags and boards out just at that time, and bit of miscommunication between the drivers on the straight.
Yeah, that does make sense. So Eltimar is pitted on hards. Tilmo was on hards, but they are 6 laps old. So I think with Tilmo, I think he still can. He'll be close now, but he could go quite a long distance into this race. Elmo, Knockos, Spectriv, Alpha Stuns, they're all on hards now, fresh hards. They'll go to the end of the race. Killer J's mediums. He's now taken over the lead of this race.
Yeah, them guys who pitted under the first safety car have really capitalised now.
We have.
On that.
Liverpool fan up to 11 places to P4. Tilmo also have 11 places to P8. Killer J has moved up 9 places to currently be leading the race.
Well, fellas, I've just been counting up all of the penalties so far, and Eltimar currently has 23 seconds of penalties.
Eltimar has 23 seconds?
23 seconds, and obviously we don't know how much of that's being taken off with regards to...
Yeah, he just pit, so he probably got rid of 5
times. Also, we have Spectriv on 20.
Jamie Mack.
NASCAR 15. Kevo had 13 before he crashed out. And then we've got Alpha Stuns with 10, Happy with 10, Liverpool fan with 10, and 1 or 2 with 8. Artistic's also got a drive-through penalty. There are currently only 3 runners without a single penalty, and 2 of them are retired. So only Bubbers is penalty free at the moment.
Interesting. You see Doom there is in third place, is the only driver not to stop so far, so he's just ignoring all these safety cars, just running his own race, and he's got himself up in the 3rd position.
Well, this is the second safety car he's had with these tyres, so he might just about be able to stretch this and switch to the softs. What do you reckon, Shane?
It was this. Sorry, I was just reading comments here.
Doom Vista in P3 is on his, he's on his 9th lap, or well, he started the race on fresh mediums. This will be the second safety car now, so normally you can stretch it for about 17-18 laps.
He's on 9 lap. It'd be a very. I think he'll have to pit again. But he could go into the soft. Definitely, he'll definitely.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have to pit, but that's what I'm saying. He could switch straight onto the soft rather than the hard.
Yeah, he definitely could. Yeah. Just looking at comments there, and it seems that the incident there with Sadistic King there and Alpha Stuns was due with the safety car being declared as such because of the Kevo's incident there. Obviously the safety car comes out and slow down, and it looks like there was a little bit of contact there between the two when the safety car was brought out. So very unfortunate, but I'm sure that we'll have to take a look at it during the week.
It'd be interesting to see if Kevo's situation was on his own or was there another car involved, because look, at the same time. Oh, lovely, lovely. No, just at the same time, on the Kevo side of things, as we said before, like, you know, he seems to be Mr. Consistent, always doing the right thing at the right time with the hard tyres there, Shane, for instance, and just something just isn't clicking for the guy, and unfortunately, second time round, he's just had the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially after that fantastic start he made.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
P20
he was
P8, well,
definitely
P7
on for
actually
some
with a penalty.
good points.
With a pit stop, sorry. It's a shame, really.
See, for me, entrance to this corner is where you need to be going. Once you get to the middle of that corner. But yeah, he had a good Killer J. He's got the jump there. 9-10s, pulled out 9-10s on Craig.
Ferrari. Oh, there's an Alfa Romeo spinning in the background.
That's TKD, that is TKD spinning.
Oh.
Here we go.
No wing.
Bubbers down the inside. Oh, Bubbers, he
ignoring yellow flags. He must have made a move before the safety car went.
Bubbers, I got it there, seen it there. He dived it down the inside of Altamar or NASCAR, one of the racing points, and just lost it into the brake and tried to make a move, outbroke himself and tapped the other car and spun him round.
Spectre was quite close. We're all line the stern now.
Craigie up into P2, just minding his own business. Good work with Craigie, the Flying Scotsman.
Liverpool on the soft tyres behind him now is quite close to him, so he'll be putting under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, they are 7 laps old, so Craigie could just be in his best interest just to let him back and be in the pit.
Yeah. Covers his way out there now.
Shadow Moody.
Right up the gearbox and knuckles here as well, coming out of the Ascari chicane. Fast there with another 2 seconds.
McLaren's a bit agricultural.
Two McLarens have had contact there. Oh my word, and Shadow Mooney is struggling. He's lost his front wheel.
He is gone.
Yeah, struggling with them rear tyres overheating. Looked like the two boys got together though. You know, the McLaren team principal will not be a happy camper.
They went very much agricultural there after Lesmo won.
An awful lot of drivers are struggling with this pit entry and making sure that they're down to the pit limit speed. They're happy to be here in the pits. Serving a penalty. He's gone on to hards and changing the front wing. So that will put him right down the field now. He'll need another safety car towards the end, in the next 15 laps to get himself back into the race. Which is very unfortunate because he had a great qualifying session. There was a car that Tilmo was off the track there on the exit of the second chicane there. Seems to be still in P6. There's a severe collision there between Knuckles and Spectral.
This is everyone needing to be concentrated out of the VSC. It's out now.
NASCAR with another penalty. Alpha Stones and Spectrum. Oh, that was close there.
With the Altamar.
Well, with Alpha Stones and Spectrum. And the TKD man has brought himself back into the pack there. DRS is enabled now this lap. Liverpool could be making a move here on Craigie.
Oh, look at that! TKD man on the inside of Specjoy. Specjoy's into the pits. Get off these hard tyres. Side by side with one.
There was elbows out there doing Vista and NASCAR, but both of them are still racing. There's quite a lot of action going on here.
We are seeing many eggs being broken. This is one.
Yes.
Spicy meatball for the omelette.
Happy to be here. Just had a spin out of.
Oh, Craigie's just after going off there in the first Lesmo. He ran him wide. He's after dropping down into P3. Just needs to get his composure back, get those tyres cleaned off and keep going. Artistic 5-second penalty speeding in the pit lane, so there's quite a lot of drivers getting caught out with this pit entry.
NASCAR side by side with Doom. Oh, they're trying it on.
At least he got through with no wings damage. That's what I'd be looking at.
That's it.
Bubbers is up. Is he making a move? Cloud has left the session.
Yeah. He'll be
NASCAR
clever now,
fan.
NASCAR's
Be
having a
clever
great
now.
race. He's looking P4.
He needs to because he's got 28 seconds of penalties.
Bubba is now on DRS now, a big knockouts. He doesn't have the greatest of exits out of Parabolica, but let's see how they get on down the straight using some ERS maybe. No, not to this moment in time.
Bubbers.
Trying to get the
He's gonna make a move
slipstream.
here. Is he? No. Maybe it was the right thing to do there.
Oh, look at this, the
He's got a
tyre
great
advantage.
exit.
He's got the power out through the chicane. Side by side, through Curva Grande. Just about big knockouts falls behind there now.
Is he going to make two?
Artistic is being lapped here now at the moment. Ghosting
Not
Chew can be
as
quite, it can be quite a distraction at times. That
Yeah.
we've got a battle for the lead now
Tillman
going
just
on.
ran
Liverpool,
Boyd on second Lesmo. And Elfmark got
Liverpool.
Boyd.
Yellow flag sector too, but Liverpool fans just trying to eye up Killer 94 now on his fresh softs.
There's an awful lot of penalties going on. And I just got past Faz down on the run down to the Parabolica. I have to say, some of this racing is fantastic today.
It is. It's going to have to be, like I said, because of all these bloody penalties that we're seeing. Wow. There's more penalties than Bruno Fernandes. This.
So Killer J is in the pits.
Eltmar trying to get a run on Doom.
Kilmo, 2 second penalty. Spectre, 2 second penalty. Faz, 3 second penalty. So, this group here of Bubbers, Tillman, Knuckles, and TK Demon are all separated by about a second. 4, 5. Oh, just that's the spinner there. Say, oh, there's a car off. It was Tillman.
Yep.
Looks like you just gone onto the grass there, and the gravel and the exit of the second chicane there.
Bubbers is a fantastic run on Faz. Faz blocking the inside here now. Bubbers trying to use the DRS and the ERS on the outside. Looks like he's got the move completed before the corner.
Textbook.
Yeah, using a bit of ERS, but that got the job done now. Can Faz keep in the DRS on to try getting back into turn 1? Looks like he might be dropping back a little bit.
Gone on board here with Spectre. He's on the back there. Liverpool is pit from. He brought his softs at 11 laps there. So he can now. He'll go to the end and probably on medium tires.
He's serving a 5-second penalty in the pit stop. He's gone on another set of softs.
Yes, but he could still do it. Yeah, he could go 11 laps,
Yeah,
which is
another set of
possible. He'll be quite
softs.
worn at the end, but
That's him trying to cover off Killer there.
because of these safety cars, these guys here that are pitting from up near, Liverpool was in P2 there. He comes out in P11 after making that pit stop, and now has to go through all this, 10 cars to get back up to that position.
Whoa, Eltmar getting bullied out there in 4th place. Doom is keeping his 3rd place at the moment. We've got
TK
an
Demon
alpha.
spun in the second chicane there. There was an awful lot of cars
Absolutely.
in a very, very close proximity there, so I'm sure inevitably there was a bit of contact.
He's making some move there on these 15 lap old soft mediums. He's
Doing this now.
he's doing some good work here.
Craigie now is inherited P1. He's has a 2.3 second gap. NASCAR in P2. That's a great drive from himself.
That's more like half a minute lap gap to be fair, but still.
Yeah. So, all NASCAR can do is just keep his head down and keep driving. Doomed is in the pits.
There we are, lads. 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Craigie's looking fairly nice out in the lead, but I'm looking on board at Eltmar now. He's on 7 lap old hards. He's clearly going to the end. Craigie, I don't think he can make it, and same as NASCAR, so Eltmar could be in the hot seat.
Yeah, 23 laps on a set of mediums for Craigie now will be difficult. Now I'm sure he's checking his wear and he's calculating what he'll be at towards the end of the race. And I think the moment there's no time to panic yet. I think the next 3 or 4 laps he just needs to just keep driving and see what happens. There could be a safety car in the next 4 laps. If that comes out, you come in, you get a set of softs, and you're to the end of the race. Now, unfortunately though, it all depends on what his wear is like. We're not inside that car. We don't know what his wear is. But 13 laps now, he should be fine now. But it's the next 4 or 5 laps. It's going to start getting a bit difficult for him.
We could be looking at, let's face it, realistically, Eltamar's P1 here.
Eltamar does have a fair amount of 5-second penalties, though. He does
have a lot of penalties. That's all going to come into it. But if we talk about just purely like on track, Knockers has thrown himself into the mix for P6 and then you're looking at either between Killer J and Liverpool fans for the last podium spot as it stands on the road. So, if TKD is going to go to the end from now, they're going to be pretty knackered if they're medium at the end, and now 7 laps over. Killer J's 1 lap old medium with Liverpool's brand new softs. Yeah. Same for the Liverpool fan, his softs are going to be pretty screwed at the end as well.
Yeah. Tilmo
looks
is
like
in the pits.
Specdrive is trying to make a move on Doomed. Doomed is just out on a fresh set of softs. The Specdrive is on 3 lap old mediums. And with this DRS now coming out of Parabolica, he needs to try and capitalise right now.
Statistics saying he got brake checked by the Alpha, so I think that was when the safety car came out. So we'll look into it. The pack now seems to be quite spread out now. There's a couple of second gap between most cars. The closest is Specdrive behind Dooms for P10. That is the closest bit of
good traction by Specdrive here.
So how long was the pit stop round here then?
About 23 seconds. It's about 23 seconds it is. About that, yeah. See, it's not a quite. It's quite short pit lane, but the problem is the delta time between if you're going 80 kilometers an hour or 50 miles an hour or whatever. I think it's 80 kph, which would be 50 miles. But the difference is the cars going by you on track are going 300 kilometers, which is about 180 miles an hour. Whereas, say for example in Monaco, they're travelling at a much slower speed. So the delta between being in the pits, even though it is, as I said, it is a short pit lane, it's the speed of the cars going by which makes it quite a long time for a pit stop.
Yeah, looking at the lap times behind the leader, you've got Liverpool fan who's 21.2 behind Craigie now, and then you've got a big gap to Doom Vista. So any of the top 9 make a pit stop for staying in the top 9. So
yeah.
Looking at Liverpool here now, he's on 2 lap old softs. Killer on a set of 3 lap old mediums, 8th and 9th. Looking like a close race there now sooner rather than later.
Out of the top 10, we're just going to go through their tyres on who can make it to the end comfortably. So we'll look at it we'll go from 9 up, because Doom is 40 seconds off the lead. He does need a safety car, but if we're looking at Liverpool, he's on 2 lap old softs, he can get to the end. Killer J, 3 lap old mediums, he can get to the end.
Oh man, there's TK man into the wall. Oh man, that was unreal. Side by side of the Killer now as well, with Liverpool fan.
Unfortunately broken wing, but he's still in the race.
Yeah, TK, he saved it from the outside wall and brought it into the inside. Right. We go DRS now with Liverpool on Killer. See how this one goes.
So realistically, it's Craigie, Fazzy and NASCAR. Those guys, maybe even Bubbers on 14 lap old tyres. They're the ones that I think Bubbers might be okay in 14, but it all depends. If they get another safety car, that changes completely. They're all probably going to come in onto a set of softs. Bar the likes of Liverpool and Dooms, because they're on a fresh set. So
I think that the aim of the game is looking at what we know, the penalties these boys don't know. That the likes of Spectriv, Alpha, Happy, that sort of territory, they're not out of getting a good result here because of all the penalties that others have got in front of them. So, it's. I think the best thing the way to approach it now is just stick your head down, keep going and just be on the best possible tyre for last stint. If
Yeah.
you've got a fresh set of softs left, you need to come in. Even if you don't need to come in, I'd be thinking about coming in and doing them like to knockos. You know that the guys, Eltamar perhaps doesn't really need to, but like to knockos perhaps.
Yeah.
If I was an issue right now, knowing what I know about the penalties, I'd be seriously considering coming for a fresh set of softs and gunning it for the last 7 laps.
Knuckles is on hers, and his oh, there was collision there between
Oh
the
my
Spectral
word,
and Doom Vista.
Spectral and Doomed have contact in Ascari.
Basically, a carbon copy of what happened to Kenneth yesterday.
I know,
Very, very
yes.
similar. Spectral does have a bit of wing damage, so I was actually on board with that because Spectral was stuck behind Doom Vista for quite a while there, so maybe a bit of frustration from being held up. Maybe he went for a move that probably wasn't on. But is he going to come in and pit for a new wing? He made a late decision. He came in.
We have a nice battle going on here for 6, 7 and 8
Yeah.
between Big Knuckles, Liverpool and Killer.
We're on board with that.
Looks like Liverpool's a bit impatient. He knows Killer's behind him, trying to get an advantage, but
Spectral retired from the race after that incident there.
fair enough. Lovely run from Liverpool fan down the straight now. DRS
We'll say
activated.
well appreciated by Spectre just to do that in the pit lane. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you.
Baz up to 5th place now as well. He's keeping his nose clean, keeping it going.
Spidey just made a comment there about Faz's tyres there. He's saying I wouldn't put Faz's tyres on my bike at this stage. They're that worn, so...
Well, if that's Baz's, Craigie's here an extra lap out, or the same lap as well.
But what I will say, Craig, he is extending the gap out to NASCAR. I think Eltamar is lapping a bit faster. He is about 5.5 seconds behind. But again, it all comes to penalties because we know that NASCAR, Eltamar, they have quite a few. They do have quite a few penalties.
Substantial
Yeah.
is the word.
So the likes of Bubbers, Faz, Liverpool, Knockos, they're all, and Killer J, who's just 8/10 behind Knockos as well. Any of those, depending on penalties, penalties could be a big, well, we're just looking at Killer J's line there through the second chicane. I don't think he's worried about penalties because it looked like he was in a different country than that apex there. But they're coming around the second Lesmore, coming down the back straight. He has DRS using overtake. Yep, and he's already buying.
Knockos tried to keep Killer J at bay with that big sausage that's mine in the reference to earlier.
Yeah.
Killer was having none of it. He says you can stick your sausage.
Eltamar now was putting a bit of pressure on NASCAR now. These are teammates. So I would like to think that the teammates will race each other. Craigie with a 5-second penalty for speed on the pit lane. Speed in the pit lane. So
Craig's in the pit lane.
that could be a big blow.
Oh, NASCAR's going for Eltamar in turn 1.
Yep, elbows out.
Oh man, this is side by side.
That's brilliant.
Oh no, bit of squeezy. Oof.
I
I
think
don't know now. That looked like he opened the steering wheel.
I didn't think Eltamar liked the collision into turn 1, so he intentionally ran him a bit out. But sure, we'll have a look at the onboards if it gets.
Oh sure, that's it. You know, you can't be letting yourself down on things like that. You know.
But I think as teammates, as I said on the run up to that corner, teammates there battling for the lead.
Elbows out.
Elbows out, boy. I think we should bit of once they leave a car space, that's all that's
Oh, we got Faz off the gravel.
we do. It's unfortunate Faz, he was on for a good race now.
Faz's rear tyres are. He's got a puncture on the rear left. That's what's had to happen in the Faz. He got a puncture.
Faz has
Wonder if
gone
this
too
will cause a
far.
safety car.
Too far and fired.
Bubbers is just after getting a 3-second penalty.
Faz is 19 laps on them tyres. NASCAR fans going to be feeling the pressure now.
NASCAR fans on 18 lap tyres, yeah, lap out tyres. If he does pit,
And he's going on to the 19th.
we'll just have a look here.
Bubbers
NASCAR, if he
as
pits now,
well.
he'll come out in and around Faz and Doom Vista, in and around that gap there, just behind Craigie and ahead of Doomed. So, to me, he should box now, and he'll have a few laps. I know he's looking at it, he's probably saying 3-4 laps left, I'll get to the end, but And the Spidey said definitely not putting them on his bike now.
Shane, at the moment, I'm not putting them on my fire, let alone my bike.
Now, Fozzie really, with this puncture, shouldn't really be taking up the racing line. But I know he is invisible, he is ghosting, but...
Spider-Man, I'm definitely not putting him right now. I don't see what the problem is, Spider. You've only got 2 wheels on your bike, and you've got 3 perfectly good tyres left.
Liverpool has made a move on Bubbers there. On the run down to Ascari. So Liverpool's up to P3. He's only 6 seconds. I think Liverpool right now is in pole position for this race, depending on penalties. But we do know that the 2 cars, we know NASCAR's probably not going to make it to the end. We've seen a car already get a puncture with 19 lap old tyres.
That's it. Bubber's on 18 lap old tyres too. He could be in the danger
Liverpool's
zone.
on 7 lap old soft. You can get 11 laps. He's just starting his 8th lap now. He should be alright to the end. Eltmar on hards will get to the end, but penalties might be a big issue for him. And then NASCAR has a couple of issues. His tyres might not make it to the end, and also he has an awful lot of penalties. So yeah, I think Liverpool is in a good position right now.
Decent. See how NASCAR gets on now over the next few corners, few laps.
So, what do we reckon then, fellas? Looking at this now, who's winning this race?
I think Liverpool's winning this race, but I don't know who's coming second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. That's.
I'm gonna stick my neck out here a little bit and go for Craigie.
To
all
win.
He needs to do is I think all he needs to do is keep it tight, setting a few good quality laps, don't give away any more penalties.
Oh, there's an artistic genius having a massive accident.
Whoa.
That was big. Hard left into the wall.
Ouch.
Don't think there's any chance of a safety car at this stage, but Jesus.
No, probably not a safety car at this stage. But the only thing with Craigie did get that 5-second penalty in the pits there, so I don't know if that...
Maybe a podium then for Craigie.
Yeah, I do think the podium still could be on the cards, but it's really, with the amount of penalties in this race, it's anyone's game. Anyone's game. But NASCAR here, if NASCAR gets to the end with 21 lap old medium tyres, you know, that's one of the joys of the day, you know?
There's only one person I know who races in PLR who can nurse the tyres this well, and I'm not going to say his name, but I'll guess.
He's not racing in this one anyway, so.
No.
Looks like Tillman's off. But God. To be honest, lads, I'm sitting here waiting for NASCAR's tyre to go pop. You know,
these corners,
I don't think...
the Lesmos, the corners that put an awful lot of load into the tyre. Going over the curve, you got a 3-second pen there. Yeah, Ascari, the Parabolica. They're the corners that he needs to be lifting a bit more than usual. You know, he basically about to start the last lap. Again, and it's all down to as well what your setup is. Some setups take a bit more life out of it. Obviously, they'll be faster. They might they'll help you with lap time, but they'll put a bit more tyre degradation in. So it could be just the difference between NASCAR's setup compared to, say, Fazzi's setup, which caused the tyre to blow, and why NASCAR is able to now start his 20-second lap on these mediums.
I think regardless of what happens with the penalties for everyone, fellas, it's really nice to see NASCAR getting a good race like this.
Oh, it is. It really is.
Recently, and looking at the position changes, he started P13. Liverpool fan started P15. Those two guys making 11.
Elfmar just left the session on the last lap.
Oh dear.
It's a very strange one, that now.
If someone can send him an invite so we can get back in, that would be fantastic. If I do it, I lose the stream here, so...
I'll do it. I'll have a go. I think I've got him on my friends list.
Oh! NASCAR's rear tyres are lighting up, they are.
It's still saying here, though, that NASCAR is 2.0 seconds behind Eltamar on my screen.
Yeah, so Eltamar's car is basically taken over by an AI.
Oh, well, the AI is set to 100, is it?
No, it's set lower. I think it's 41 or something. Or 75.
NASCAR's catching him, it's now 1.3.
Yeah, and Liverpool might actually win this on track as well, because Liverpool is only a couple of tenths. Killer J and Bubbers moved there between Killer J and Bubbers.
Oh, J, the Liverpool nearly been there.
He's looking to win this outright and not
Come
resort
on,
to the
NASCAR
penalties.
fan.
NASCAR making a move for the lead.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, NASCAR. Well done, mate.
Ah,
Well done keeping those tyres alive. Oh, Liverpool fan.
Oh, he's run out of
NASCAR's
fuel! He's run out of fuel!
Oh,
He's got
my word.
Liverpool actually
finishing front.
looks like he's won the race, but that was an unbelievable end to the race. Oh my word!
What on the
Looks
hell
like
happened
NASCAR
there?
had no fuel,
It
and
looked-
Liverpool got caught out.
It could have been his
Liverpool
tyre
still
blown. It could have been his tyre blown. It could have been tyre. It could have been fuel. But it was
It's not
something.
his tyre. His tyres look fine. It's fuel.
Well, it looked like Liverpool pushed NASCAR across the line to win the race on the track, but Liverpool, with the adjusted times from the penalties, has won the Grand Prix in front of Killer 94 and Bubbers in third place. Congratulations to the three lads.
Sorry, lads, for laughing, but that was hilarious. Right, just looking at the position moves there. So Liverpool made 14 positions to win that race. Killer J made 8, and Bubbers has moved up 5 positions. So I have to say, NASCAR as well. I know he finished P5, but it was a great drive. He did finish the race in P1, albeit facing the wrong way. But
That was an amazing end to that race. NASCAR really gave us a good one. Liverpool on his soft tires coming back from that late pit stop. Telling you, we couldn't have asked for any more between the
NASCAR
tier
and
2
Bubbers-
boys.
NASCAR and Bubbers, massive respect for getting that far on them tyres. I know
Yeah,
there's a couple of
fair play
safety
to
cars,
them.
but still, 23 and 24 laps.
yeah, fantastic. Driver of the day, well deserved Liverpool from starting
Well done,
P14,
Liverpool.
P15 and winning the race there. But that was some drama from start to finish there. That was really enjoyed that. race.
That is some well-seasoned omelette right there.
Oh,
No, I'm telling you, the pizza came out nice and fresh.
I think we threw the whole 12 pack of eggs into the omelette there in the last bit. Going across the line there.
Definite some steward inquiries after that Grand Prix, but ultimately from where we were sitting in the commentary box, that was a really entertaining one. A lot of elbows out racing, some bit of contact as well.
Shout out to Alpha Stuns for no penalties as well.
Yeah,
Well done,
very,
Alpha.
very good.
Congratulations. Not many people could do that in Tier 1 either, I tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so you
Present
can see
company
there.
accepted.
What is the most penalties received today? We have a 29 second
21
one there.
is there. 29. Yeah, NASCAR got 29, and I think he served one in the pits as well. So you're looking at
Yeah, I think
arguably
some of
into
them
the 30
have been
seconds.
served. I mean, Eltamar finished P8 with 21 seconds.
Right.
29, that's a record for this league, isn't it? Like, that's obviously not one you really want, but that's an impressive one. Like, you know,
Craigie
must have
with the
been close
fastest
to
lap
being
there.
disqualification.
It's not showing because apparently Sadistic had a 38.992 second lap, but Craigie with a
Craigie's by a
121
mile
there
and
has
it
the
121.4.
fastest lap of the race.
Yep.
Does
Noted.
Craigie want to join the party there and just give his views on how his race went?
The second place, I believe it was, from the restart.
It was, yeah. A new Killer pitted earlier than me, who he pitted in the first safety car with me. But he went off quite quick on Rich, I would believe, because he shot off quite quickly. So I let him go, and he obviously went in and pitted in for another hard on the second.
interviews. We're just going to do interviews with the winner and the second place guys as well. So just hold on 1 second. Yeah. So Liverpool, yeah. How did you find your race went? Up 14 positions from your start there. I think you had an accident in qualifying. So how did you feel about coming out with the race win? How did the race go for yourself? I know that there was an awful lot of penalties for drivers, and we were talking about that in commentary there, that it could be down to the driver that has the least amount of penalties, because there was an awful lot of penalties under safety car and things like that. I don't know if you've seen much or heard much about going on, but yeah, can you add a comment in about anything along those lines about penalties or? Right. Yeah. 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 Great. Killer J. Sorry, Gavin. What's your opinion of what happened there with NASCAR into crossing the line there? We don't know if he ran out of fuel or if his tyre went or. Sorry. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, well yeah. Yeah. Fantastic race. Killer J, how did you find your race went? You P2. Were you expecting that? Yeah. Yeah. There to go. Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well done, lads. It was a fantastic race to watch, and I'm sure it was good to, and it was enjoyable to participate in as well, because there was an awful lot of action and there was some great racing going on between a lot of drivers. And I'm sure a few people won't be happy with a few things that happened, but what we can see was a lot more great racing than there was anything of anything bad. So well done, lads, and we'll move on to Singapore next week, same time.
Oh God,
Wednesday.
Singapore.
Yeah.
I'll be last in that one.
Well done,
Well
lads.
done, lads.
Cheers for having us.
Well done, fellas. Well done.
Right, so-
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for the support there through the chat. Really appreciated all your messages and support. Don't forget to like and follow the page. As Shane was alluding to earlier on, PLR will be back next week at the same time at 9:45 BST for round 3 from Singapore.
To crack more omelettes.
Yeah,
crack more
exactly. I
omelettes,
tell you,
yeah.
that's going to be a race of attrition. Don't forget to check out the Tier 1 races. Mondays at 10 o'clock. Same format, just following the 2020 original
Super
calendar.
fast in the commentary.
Super
Exactly.
fast. Super fast.
Right, guys.
You've
Thanks
seen
very
him
much.
racing today in the Scuderia Ferrari. He'll be on commentary now Monday. Fantastic. Well,
Thoroughly enjoyed the race. Fantastic. Looking forward to Singapore next week. Brilliant.